Hi friends, and today we're slowing things down and practicing 3 very simple watercolor washes. Nothing fancy, nothing perfect, just learning how water and paint like to move together. So we're going to grab a brush, 2 of your favorite colors, and paper. Let's begin. So we'll start with what we call a flat wash. This is one even layer of color across your paper. So I've drawn just some small squares. We're not going to do a whole sheet of paper with these washes because, you know, you don't want to be here for 5 hours. Now, I do have some extended videos on Patreon. That would be really nice to hang out with you guys for. We're doing skies with these flat washes, so if you want to do something a little bit more in depth. So we're going to wet the square because we're going to do wet on wet first. That seems to be the most popular way people want to paint watercolor. And let's see, let's do some blue. So a nice flat wash is great for skies. So I'm going to mix enough paint before I begin so that I don't have to feel rushed. Let's see, which blue are we going to be using? We're going to be using the ultramarine because that's a good sky blue color. Let's see if I got enough here. We're just going to start at the top and I'm going to work my way down. I probably could even get some more paint. There we go. Because I wanted a bead, and that bead of water, we're just going to let that lead the way. And it's going to stay within our boundaries because water likes to travel the path of least resistance. So it's going to stay in where we wet. I could have probably used my flat brush. And that would get a different result too. That would be fun to play around with how different brushes lay down the washes. But if your wash isn't perfectly smooth, that's okay. This isn't about perfection. It's about control. And then we'll do a gradient. We'll be dark here at the top and fade into light, you know, like sometimes the horizon has a little bit lighter color than the top of the sky. So that's also another good sky effect. Washes are probably the most popular. Oh, I gotta wet the square. Technique for skies. Just good clean water. Oops. I keep hitting the tripod. That's why it's a little hard to maneuver around here. I got a little tiny space. All right, so we got the square is wet. I want to wipe off that bead of water because our paint will probably end up down here. That's okay if it does. This is just practice. It's not a big deal. Okay, so let's get some blue. Still using our ultramarine. Or you can, like I said, use whatever your favorite color is. Because this isn't about creating, you know, a sky. We're just using a color. I'm gonna as it fades down here, I'm going to pick up some of this because I put too much water in. And we can wait till that dries a little bit and we can make it darker there. I didn't want to force it. I just wanted to let the water be the guide. You don't have to worry about when you get like little bits of paint like that. Just let them be, and they'll dry. But you see how it goes from darker to a mid-tone, and then we got some light down there. It doesn't have to be straight across even, because if you look at the sky, it's varying color, so it's fine. That'll work. And then our third will be two colors, you know, like an ombre. Great for a sunset. I'm thinking some blue, and then I'll get a yellow. Let me get the yellow wet. And in my skies, I like to use lemon yellow because it doesn't create a green when it's mixing with the blues, or as bad. I'm not going to say that it's not going to at all, but it doesn't do it as bad. So let's see here. Get some. Oh, it's already got blue. It's okay. Let's get this square wet. And then let's see, blue at the top. And we'll let it run down, and I didn't put as much paint because I don't want it to run all the way down there. I want the yellow. I might have to tip it this way. And watch them mix together. That's fun. And see, even though my water was still kind of tinted with a little bit of blue, it's not a ton. It's not very obvious green. I mean, there maybe a little bit, but it's still fun looking. So let's do these same concepts, and let's try it with a wet on dry. We won't wet the paper, and see how that's different. Let's use the same colors. I'm sure. Let me get a little bit more water. I need to get more paint in my brush. There we go. There we go. I have to mix it a little stronger on dry paper. And it's okay that it stops, right? Because it's water likes to, the paint likes to follow the water, and the paper's dry. So we just do a couple of strokes and coax it down. This bead right here, that's perfect. That's perfect. But see how that totally is a different look than this. Almost more vibrant too. All right, let's try the gradient. I'm gonna rinse my brush, blot it dry, and then make this fade. The water travels totally different on dry paper. The paint travels totally different on dried paper. More controlled, but it just depends on what look you're going for. Let's do the blue at the top. All right, let's rinse that off. I just want to make sure that that stays wet so that we don't get a harsh line. And let's go into our yellow and bring that up. Not mixing them, I just want to make sure that they meet in the middle and mingle. See this down here, now that it's even drier, I thought, oh, maybe it might create a little bit of a green, but I just let the paint dry naturally, let it do its thing, and it's not green at all. It actually looks really cool. See, this one's starting to move into the blue, and then we'll probably see some blue moving down into the yellow. But these three flat washes, the gradient, and this color fade, they're probably going to be your foundation of many watercolor paintings. So you don't need to master them today, but when you have a quiet minute, and I encourage you to practice. I'm so glad that we got to paint together today. Until next time, may your paints flow with peace.